Peace, family, and welcome to another edition of Underground Railroad Radio. This is your host, Brother Rich. I'm back with Prof.Griff. Welcome back, brother.
Oh, glad to be back, good brother. Glad to be back, and this is the last show for this year. So
yeah. I didn't even think about it like that. You're right.
Yeah, it's the last show for this year. So hopefully, and as Muslims say, inshallah, the first show of 2016, which is I guess on January 6th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have to start it off right. Even though this is not the beginning of the new year, you know, they changed the new year and they changed the time when they want to according to their Gregorian calendar. But anyway.
Indeed. So I want to today, Griff. I called Griff today, y'all. I said, Griff, man, I need to talk to you about something I'm seeing all over the place. I got to get the Professor Griff. There's only one perspective and that is the Professor Griff perspective. I got to ask you about this situation, Griff. We deal with this system of racism, white supremacy constantly. This situation with Lebron James and Tamir Rice. Now, as we know, LeBron is a Cleveland native. He recently went back to Cleveland, and, you know, there's a lot of hoopla about that. He said he wanted to give back to his community and raise the economy and bring them a championship and so on and so forth. So we have this situation, a young gentleman by the name of Tamir Rice, who was killed by the police, I think it was it earlier this year or last year?
No, it was 13 months. I think it was late last year.
Right. So it just came out that the officer involved in the shooting, I'm sure everybody or mostly everybody's seen the tape. He was 12 years old, and the officer involved in the shooting is not even getting indicted. So, you know, as Tariq Nasheed calls it, the 500-year coincidence, nobody's surprised about the outcome. But people do want change at that same time. One of the popular trends, one of the popular things that is being spread over the internet now is people are calling LeBron James to boycott. He's a Cleveland native. They feel as though this would be the perfect opportunity to send a message. From what I'm getting, you know, some people feel as though that's right. Some people feel as though it's wrong. I want to provide a scenario for you and let's start out by getting your opinion on this. From what I'm getting, people are asking LeBron to boycott.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people are saying the same people that are asking LeBron, boycott, don't go to work. While they're telling LeBron that, they are at their job, working their job, making their living, doing what they got to do for a living, but at the same time, they're asking LeBron not to work his job. And now, the reason why I wanted to talk to you, because it's kind of bigger than LeBron, it's this thing with the black millionaires and people who aren't millionaires, and the black millionaires probably feel as though we have unfair expectations of them. We feel as though, we as a collective, not in as me and you, we may feel as though they don't give back enough to the community. So I want to get the Professor Griff perspective on this whole dynamic, because it's not the first and it's not going to be the last. People are looking for the Muhammad Ali's, that what we used to see with Muhammad Ali, they're looking for that in these entertainers and athletes of today. So, Professor Griff, to start out with, is it unfair for a person who's working their job, taking care of their family, to tell another man, just because he happened to make more money than them, that he should boycott and not go to work in support of in support of the cause?
Well, I think, Brother Rich, it's very unfair for us to put that kind of thing squarely on the shoulders of LeBron James, simply because he's a millionaire, simply because he's popular and he's famous and he's known, simply because he's a native of Cleveland. Let's flip this around and ask the question, what do we think LeBron James, or what do we feel, or do we ever stop and think what LeBron James thinks of all the other black men and women that's been shot down? Where was everyone else that was native to those particular cities? How come y'all didn't take off work? What if LeBron James is thinking about that? What if LeBron James wore this T-shirt, I can't breathe? What if LeBron James feels he did what he could do with what he's working with? What if LeBron James says, okay, well, I'm not with boycotting in that way. I'm going to go to work, but nonetheless, I'm going to raise my voice. I'm going to protest in the way that I feel like I want to protest. We can't, see, this is escapism, Brother Rich. We can't put it squarely on the shoulders of LeBron James just because he's popular. We have to balance this out. We have to say, okay, let's do our part in hopes that LeBron James will see the bigger picture way beyond himself, and LeBron James does his part. Now, LeBron James is not a Muhammad Ali. LeBron James is not a James Brown when James Brown said, "Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud." LeBron James is not a Sly and the Family Stone when they say, "Don't call me nigger, whitey. Don't call me whitey, nigger." LeBron James is not a Stevie Wonder where he said, "If you believe in things that you don't understand and then you suffer, superstition ain't the way." LeBron James is not an Edwin Starr when he talked about war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And I could go on and on and on. LeBron James is not groomed in that way. LeBron James is not a Muslim. Muhammad Ali came up under Malcolm X, brought into the nation by Malcolm, into the nation of Islam, and was taught these things. So until LeBron James get politicized, we can't expect too much from basketball players. Although we do expect something, you understand what I'm saying? But we can't put it squarely on LeBron James's shoulders, Brother Rich.
Prof.Griff, do you think it's possible to be what some might call pro-black and a capitalist at the same time?
No, because the mere definition of what a capitalist is, it negates this whole idea of you morphing yourself into this well-rounded, holistic black individual to be pro-black. Now, in order to be pro-black, you have to be anti-white establishment, anti-racism, white supremacy, and under the economic label, as Dr. Francis Cress-Welsing lays out, under the economic banner or label of economics, and under the definition of racism, white supremacy. No, those two different opposing views and forces and perspectives cannot occupy the same turf, man. Cannot occupy the same space. If you're going to be pro-black, we have to be pro-black all the way around, holistically. You can't be a capitalist at the same time, Brother Rich, because being pro-black encompasses a different form of economics, Brother Rich. There's no big I in little u if you're pro-black. We share equally with everyone. Nothing for ourselves and everything for everyone. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everything for everyone and nothing for ourselves. And we have to understand that. To be, you can easily be a black person and call yourself a capitalist. But when you truly look at the definition, your capitalism will run very, very, very short when you start running to those roadblocks because you're black. You don't even have to be pro-black.
Early this year, as far as entertainers and athletes, do you think they should automatically, because they may be popular or they may have 1 million followers or be a multi-millionaire, should we automatically categorize them as leaders? Because I know earlier this year when Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, had the Justice or Else March, he met with some of the rappers, and he was telling Young Thug is a rapper that a lot of people say, he do a lot of gay shit, and Farrakhan was calling him one of the leaders. So some people would say, Young Thug, this motherfucker ain't no leader. What the fuck is talking about a leader? So what do you think about people who call rappers or entertainers or musicians or whatever, refer to them as leaders in the black community?
I mean, well, Brother Rich, we have to look at the whole idea of who is defining this concept called leader. And then if you call yourself a leader, which I've heard a few individuals that we know call themselves leaders recently on some interviews. And I'm like, well, what are you leading? And where are you leading the people to? What is this utopia kind of place, this place over the rainbow? Oz, follow the yellow brick road. Where are you leading people to? And then if you're a leader, then lay out your program. so we can understand the full scope of your leadership. And then if we used to put some basic things in place, let's define the characteristics and the qualifications of what a leader should be in the black community. Let's take the sum total of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let's take some leaders of old, and let's lay out some aspects of what they exemplify. And then let's measure up. Let's see if we can measure up to that in order to call ourselves leaders. But Brother Rich, just because someone is their second home is Facebook and they got likes on a post, that don't make you a leader. Now you could lead those people, but where are you leading those people to? And as soon as we make the comment or the statement about we're a leader, we're held responsible for all those that you claim to be leading. Every single one of them, whether they're misfits or whether they're mentally disabled or mentally deprived, or they're not up to par with what you're laying out, or they're following you, they're hanging on your every word. Whether or not these people are half crazy, gone half cocked, you still held responsible for them. Whether they're operating with a half deck, full deck, or no damn deck, you held responsible for them. So we need to be careful to throw this word leader around. I tell people often, I'm not your leader. I'm trying to educate you and equip you with enough information and knowledge so you can master and lead yourself. Just because you get likes on a post don't make you a leader. If Facebook shut down, there'd be a whole bunch of people crying broke, man. I'm talking about broke in the spiritual sense, Brother Rich. And it seems like people's lives depend on Facebook. So if Facebook shut down, that's the end of your leadership? If you're a leader, let me see you in the community leading. So we need to be very, very careful. I think when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that in reference to a Young Thug or 2 Chainz or one of these kind of characters, to my knowledge, from what I gathered from what the Honorable Minister Farrakhan stated when he said that they are leaders. They're leaders in their own right when it comes to who they're leading in the music industry as far as their fan base is concerned. So if someone is following Griff and they admire me because of what I did in the music industry, then you could say, okay, as much as I could give you as far as the music is concerned. So if you've been following me in that instance, then fine. That's cool. Then all you're doing is waiting on my next song to come out. You understand what I'm saying, Brother Rich? And that's the limitation of my leadership as far as my quote-unquote followers are concerned. So if my next song is a flop, I guess that's the end of my leadership. So when you talk about it in that perspective, Brother Rich, then I can understand Minister Farrakhan's statement. But to propel them into this particular role as leaders of the black community, or even aspects of the black community, to lead us into aspects of what we're supposed to be doing to get a total liberation and freedom, I would think not. But only Minister Farrakhan knows that. Not Griff, not Brother Rich, not any smart ass who want to leave a comment under this YouTube clip. We need to question the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan about what he meant by exalting these rappers that all of us know are not qualified to lead you to a goddamn toilet. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's it in a nutshell.
Now, in terms of entertainers or celebrities or black people to have this platform where they could reach hundreds of thousands or millions of people, in terms of social responsibility, that's what I want to talk about right now, social responsibility. Do you think we try to dictate how responsible they should be, and it's like kind of unfair expectations? And let me give you an example. I'll use myself as an example. A female sister called me one time earlier this year and told me, yeah, she enjoys the program. She listens to it all the time. But I should stop cursing. I shouldn't use profanity because there's children listening to the program, and there's people. We have to learn to express ourselves, to use the English language in a better way. So now let me ask you, using myself as an example. Let's say I a year from now I have about a million subscribers, and millions of people all over are watching Brother Rich. Millions of people all over the globe. Brother Rich started out using profanity on his platform. I may say nigga sometimes. I may say things. Now, because I have millions of people watching me, Griff, should I stop what I started doing? This is how I started my program. This is who I was before I became famous. It's like once they become famous, they have to get rid of certain aspects of their personality. So should a person who's famous, if they was doing it before they're famous, is it unfair to ask them to stop doing it now that they are famous and they have millions of people watching or listening to them?
No, it's very unfair, Brother Rich. It's very unfair. The thing that propelled you and got you to this particular plateau, so I think you have to be very consistent with what you do. And if we are on this type of platform that you created, right, then I think you need to stick, because this is why people tune in. They want to hear it raw, gritty, grimy, gully. You understand what I'm saying? They want to hear it real. Right. They want to hear it. They want to hear it raw. If she is looking for the cleaned up, polished version of what this is, she needs to go to another channel, or she needs to be very selective about what part of this she lets her children hear, or let her listen to it and then kind of write some notes down and become the translator and the buffer between what you and I say, because we might let a curse word slip out. She needs to become the buffer between what we talk about on here and her children. Are you following what I'm saying? Mm. And I think it's very real. You cannot, just because you get 1 million followers, begin to shift and change. But now, I would say this. If you and I were invited to do this at a school somewhere, after school program, of course you and I got to adhere to and speak to the audience that we're in front of. Consciously in front of 6th graders, right, Brother Rich? You and I would not use the same language. I know I don't.
Right.
I've been invited to churches. I don't use this language. I've been invited to colleges. I don't use this language. Pardon me. I've been invited to speak at a private NAACP regional meeting at the behest of Deborah Anderson. And it was Masons and Shriners and people that did card-carrying members of the NAACP coming in there with white black tie and tails and, formal dinner kind of thing. Of course, Brother Rich, I had to adjust the language and bring the vibration of the language up in order to communicate with those particular individuals. That's smart. But as soon as I left there and I took my suit off and I had to go to the hood, you understand what I'm saying? I got to speak the language of the people, plain and simple. And so it's a very unfair, Brother Rich, expectation that she is asking you to adhere to, simply because at this hour, and this is one of the reasons, and I think everyone needs to hear this point, and Brother Rich, you and I discussed this before, the reason why we set the tone, and we did this at 11 o'clock at night, simply because we know that people would be asleep. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That we can be clear about what we're saying and how we're saying it. So when we do put it up on Facebook, everybody knows this is done on a Wednesday night at between 11 and 12. And just respect the fact that we're reaching those cats that are probably going to be up, smoking weed, drinking, hanging out with their homies, listening to this by their cell phone or in the car or just sitting around checking it out. It's that cat that's at work that got the headphones or the earphones on, that nobody else is listening to this. And there's not a group of young people sitting around listening to this. Let's not be crazy, Brother Rich. It's putting too much pressure on us. I keep the average young brother in mind when I do these particular interviews, 11 o'clock every Wednesday night. I would implore every mother out there to use that mommy filter and turn it on when you hear Brother Rich and Professor Griff on Wednesday nights doing this thing. And, you know what I'm saying? Simply because the platform is one of those kind of, young adult, young male, female audience demographic that we're speaking to. And I think every mom should know that.
Indeed.
And just give us the room to be ourselves.
Right.
I don't speak the King's English, Brother Rich. I just don't, and I'm not striving to speak the King's English. I want to be flexible and interchangeable.
Right. Now, I mentioned Muhammad Ali in the beginning of our conversation, and I noticed that the same people that praise Muhammad Ali for not going to war, and they're saying he stood up for what he believed in. They condemn they will condemn LeBron if he chose to boycott. Why is it, with that being said, Professor Griff, why is it that it seems as though people appreciate things way later? What you're doing now may not be appreciated as much. You're appreciated, but it may be appreciated even more 10 years from now. But it seems as though while the entertainer is doing it, they're getting condemned. Like, oh, how can he do that? He's this, he's that. Then 10 years later, the people are like, yeah, that was noble. That's what's up, man. He did that. Oh, man, that's a strong, powerful brother. Why is that, Professor Griff?
I think, Brother Rich, in a nutshell, and this is probably going to be the shortest answer tonight, I think it's safer to praise these brothers and sisters when those brothers and sisters are no longer around to hold us accountable. It's safe now for you to say that about Muhammad Ali. He's not really active like that. It's safe for you to quote Malcolm and say the things that you say about Malcolm, because Malcolm is not here to hold you accountable for the things that you quote unquote praising him for. Because how many people, Brother Rich, was really rolling with Malcolm when Malcolm was doing his thing? Not many.
Right.
It's safe right now that when I put up a picture of Khalid Muhammad at my lecture, raw people whistling and shouting and Black Power and this, that, and the other. How many people really roll with Khalid? Because it's safer. But when Khalid said, we're going to go down and we're going to face and square off with the police right at the state office building right in Harlem up on the block, how many people did we get, Brother Rich? You understand what I'm saying? When Khalid was rolling through like Malcolm was rolling through on some hardcore military kind of stuff, how many brothers got suited and booted? See, it's cool to get suited and booted now because it's in vogue now. It's in vogue to wear a uniform and call yourself a revolutionary. It's in vogue now to wear, the Panther button or do the Black Power salute up at the lecture. But when we have to take down the quotes and the strategy of Che Guevara, we have to follow the revolutionary. Some people claim that Minister Farrakhan got soft, and I just say I beg your pardon. But even if you do feel that way, that he's not as radical, I say, well, you need to reevaluate things. He's doing what he's doing in his elder statesman position that he's in. He's an elder. It's young men for war, elder men for counsel. Am I right or wrong, Brother Rich?
Indeed.
But even if people felt that way, go back and pull from the young Farrakhan then. The radical revolutionary Farrakhan, if you claim he's not being the fiery Farrakhan that he is today. You understand what I'm saying? I say the same thing about Che Guevara. If you want to be that radical, go back and pull on Che Guevara's work and make Che Guevara's work applicable to your life and your revolutionary stance and your revolutionary struggle. And let's see how far you get. Go back and pull on Chairman Mao. Go back and pull on Ho Chi Minh. Go back and pull on the Mau Mau. Go back and pull on the Zulu or any other revolutionaries that you find favor with their teachings and see if it worked with this brand new cracker in 2016. The shit he pulling. You understand what I'm saying? Hell no, you go back and reach for Ho Chi Minh and some of those revolutionaries, you better do the goddamn 2016 remix because this crack ain't playing today. Ho Chi Minh didn't have to, and Che Guevara didn't have to deal with the Patriot Act or Homeland Security. You understand what I'm saying, Brother Rich?
Yeah.
Or chemtrails or heart. They didn't have to deal with that. So this is a very new, sophisticated devil that we're dealing with today. So it's going to take probably the culmination of all those revolutionaries to deal with this beast we got to deal with today, man. Did you read, Brother Rich, the actual statement that they made in reference to Tamir Rice?
Yeah.
They said the 12-year-old death was his own fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
Writing that plaintiff's descendants' injuries, losses, and damages complained of were directly and proximately caused by the failure of the plaintiff's descendant to exercise due care to avoid injury. Those of us that are not lawyers and those of us that do not speak the King's English, what that translates into means this, that Tamir Rice was responsible for his own death simply because he was a 12-year-old boy, black, in a park playing with a gun. Now, Brother Rich, given the climate of what's going on in America in reference to police officers shooting down young black men and women, I don't think it was a smart move for mom and dad to allow their 12-year-old to be in the park with a gun, a toy gun. That's number one. Number two, that's number two. Tamir Rice didn't cause his own death. There's plenty of white boys right now as we speak, Brother Rich, playing with toy guns right after goddamn Christmas in the park outside or in the playground. So am I right or wrong?
Right.
So we have to be very mindful of the climate in America. And we have to be very mindful that not only is Tamir Rice's life taken from him and cut down at an early age. You see, Brother Rich, this is the thing that bougie Negroes and uppity-ass Uncle Tom and Uncle Thomasina's Negroes, niggas, and niggerlettes need to understand that we can't trust white people, period, with the lives of our children, not in school, not in church, not in playgrounds, nowhere. And we have to act like what Sister Soldier said, and she said, we are at war. And indeed we are, Brother Rich. We're at war. So we take our hats off to the Andrew Hawkins players of the world that want to stand up for justice, and if all you could do is wear a T-shirt, fine. If all you can do is take your jerseys off and throw them in the middle of the court, fine. If that's all you can do, fine. But come on now. Desperate times call for desperate measures, Brother Rich, and we need to understand that. But, Brother Rich, let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with the Second Amendment right?
Yes.
That we as Americans are supposed to have?
Yes.
Okay, so if we have the right to bear arms, and in most states now there's open carry, why would you shoot a 12-year-old in a park playing with a toy gun, if that's the case, if you're familiar with the Second Amendment? And if these states have instituting open carry laws. See, but what it really is, Brother Rich, is shoot first and let's ask questions later.
Yeah.
Then it's easy to say the system failed black people yet again by saying Tamir Rice caused his own death. See, this, Brother Rich, this is the thing that gives birth to that next crop of rappers like Kendrick Lamar and other brothers that may do a "Fuck the Police" song, which was done by NWA back in the day. This is the thing that gives birth to a brother like KRS-One doing Black Cop. See, this is what gives birth to some of these brothers that will go and commit these heinous crimes on young whites as retaliation. Because the police don't feel sad or sorry. They'll be protected by that thin blue line and that shield. And that oath that they've taken and the badge. And they'll stand behind that knowing that the system of racism, white supremacy will forever protect white people and white police officers. I think, I'm sorry. Go
ahead, Griff.
You mentioned the quote from Tariq Nasheed.
Right.
The 500-year coincidence. Well, if we read Ginsburg's book and we go back into the annals of history, we can go back and see where this is the same behavior, Brother Rich, as the Ku Klux Klan. We're probably dying at a higher rate than we did back in the day. Because a lot of the incidents, Brother Rich, they're not reported. And even if they are reported, they don't end up in major news headlines. They don't end up on CNN, MSNBC, and those kind of television shows and those kind of news services. If it wasn't for some brave people in black journalism and some of these blog talk shows, we'd probably never hear of some of these incidents that go on, Brother Rich.
Indeed. Now, a lot of people, feel, Griff, that the cops should live within the community in order to police the community. But then people also say that, black cops have something to prove more than white cops, so they're going to go harder on you. So what do you think that's a possible solution, or do you think that, it's a situation like some feels as though they're going to go super hard because they got to prove to their boss that they not, that they not that they are against their people or whatever?
No, I believe, Brother Rich, that is what I talk to several officers, black officers around the country about. It's a start. Put in that request. Start a program at your precinct among the black officers, and put in those requests and start those programs where black officers need to police black people. Black officers need to police in black neighborhoods where they don't have to prove anything to anyone, Brother Rich. You know why? Because you know the business owners. You know the religious leaders. You know the political leaders. You know mom and dad, the mom and dad of the troublemakers, so to speak. You could go to the PTA meetings. You could get involved. It's easier to set up a community watch program without us snitching on one another. We could go back to a code that we had from that we looked out for one another, Brother Rich. So it's a start, brother. It's not the end all, the be all. Do we have police officers in the particular neighborhoods and troubled areas in America that we could even do that? See, a lot of that is easy to say on an interview late night, Brother Rich. It's a lot more difficult when you're in the position that I'm in, having to speak and meet with black police officers that are on our side, that do care, that do not share the sentiment of the average police officer, that do want to make a difference. So it's very, very difficult. And there are some concerned black officers out there. We take our hats off to them. I'm not talking about the undercover Uncle Toms, Brother Rich, that pretend like they're for us. But when they get with their white officers on patrol, it's something totally different. And we do have those police officers, those black officers out there that feel that they want to prove something to their white fellow officers. Like the officers that got filmed out of the police dash cam, ran up on the brother, stop grabbing for my weapon, stop grabbing for my weapon. And the white officer reached over and punched him in the face, and they took him down, and those two officers got indicted. I forgot what city he was in, but it was all caught on film, Brother Rich. The brother had his hands up, not even speaking a word, just surrendering. And they beat the brother down, and as they was beating him down, they said, stop going for my weapon. And none of that even happened, Brother Rich. So there are some concerned officers out there. Quiet as it's kept, there's some concerned white officers out there. And a few of them have called me and put me up on game, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And actually have admitted to me that there are some black officers that they actually work with that really care nothing about the black community. Their main concern is to get a paycheck and take their ass home. They're not concerned about real policing.
What do you think? What about if somebody says, well, Professor Griff, these officers are underpaid. So when they go to work, they're stressed out. They always got to deal with bullshit. They put their lives on the line constantly, and they're underpaid. So they take out their stress, or they misdirect their frustration toward these the easiest targets, which happens to be a young black male. What do you feel about that?
Let me tell you something, Brother Rich. As long as we've been underpaid and underappreciated in America, that's no excuse to go take it out on your own community, Brother Rich. Hell, I ran into a few people yesterday at goddamn Walmart. You understand what I'm saying? And hell, they underpaid. They don't go rearranging the fucking underwear in the underwear section. Now, do they? They don't get mad at come on, I'm being jovial about it, but they don't go take it out on people in the frozen food section or the pharmacy and ringing up people's stuff wrong. You understand what I'm saying? We have to be able to have these tension outlets. Now, granted, Brother Rich, I sympathize and empathize with some of these officers. It is a very stressful job. Let me tell you something, Brother Rich. You and I had a conversation off the air prior to us starting the interview about me going back and forth with some of the people on the one of the last clip that we did, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gave them a minute of my time just to check a few people about a few things, and then I got off of there, Brother Rich, because I know my temperament. I know my stress level. I know my threshold, and I don't get pushed to my threshold. But what I do, Brother Rich, is I have a tension outlet. You understand what I'm saying? I got a white dummy in my garage called Bob that I beat the hell out of Bob every single damn day. You understand what I'm saying? Because I get rid of my stress. I jump rope and hit the bag. You understand what I'm saying? I do knife techniques and, pick up some clues and some hints from, Ronda Rousey or one of them people on MMA or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? So I have a tension outlet. Or I might just do the opposite, Brother Rich, and just be quiet and meditate. So we all have to find an outlet. We can't take it out on the girlfriend or the wife or your little sister or the community. Or some people just can't wait Thursday for you to put this up, Brother Rich, so they can get their shit on. That's it. People come their doormat and their punching bag every Thursday. You understand? So this is a very real dynamic, and like I said, I empathize with the police officers. I just would let them know that karma's a bitch, man. What goes around comes around. You cannot take your frustrations out because there's black officers in white communities. You don't take your frustration out on little white boys.
Right, yeah,
because
that's true.
You know the repercussions.
Good point.
You know Italian people are not going for that, and they're not. You understand what I'm saying? Irish people are not going for that, and Jewish people ain't going for that. So we have to be able to have a tension outlet even for the officers. And we have to be able, I'm talking about be compliant to a degree, brother. It's not to the point where you getting jacked up, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of us abide by the daggone law.
I got one more.
I'm sorry. We understand the black police officers' stress level and what they have to deal with. But guess what, Brother Rich? He signed on to that, now didn't he?
Yeah.
But there were some key findings, Brother Rich. It says police killed at least 101 unarmed black people in 2015, more than any other race. Nearly 1 in 3 black people killed by police in 2015 were identified as unarmed, though the actual number is likely higher due to underreporting, Brother Rich. See, a lot of this stuff is not reported.
Mm-hmm.
Or they lie, like they did on the brother in Chicago. They lied up and down, Brother Rich. How you going to shoot the man in the head, and then you shoot him, and he's down, dying, probably dead, and then you dump 14 more bullets in him? And then when we see the videotape, and he never lunged at you, he never came at you with a knife or anything. Come on, Brother Rich. It says 39% of unarmed black people killed by police were black in 2015, despite black people being only 13% of the United States population. Unarmed black people were killed at 6 times the rate of unarmed whites in 2015, and only 7 of the 101 cases resulted in officers being charged with a crime. So much for the goddamn body cam, right?
Wow. Wow.
So much for dumping money into body cams and so much dumping money into cameras that line the streets of Chicago and some of these major cities. What happened to all that footage? The goddamn police went into Burger King, and confiscated the damn tape and chopped it up. So what are we going to use the body cams for? What you going to use the videotape from the police video cameras for? When police just go in, flash their bag, and confiscate evidence. The law is only as good as those that enforce the law, Brother Rich. So who should really be in fear of their lives, Brother Rich? White police officers who claim they shoot black people down in self-defense, or innocent black people like Mike Brown, Eric Garner, John Crawford, and about 298 more that I could mention. It has reached an epidemic proportion, Brother Rich. It has reached a level that God may have to come down and interfere in the lives of black people, man. Or, not God come down, we just need to start acting like the gods and goddesses that we are and defend and protect ourselves. Shoot. Plain and simple.
Yeah, those are some wild
brother. I don't mean to cut you off. This sister and brother, Melissa Williams and Timothy Russell. You remember that case? This cracker jumped on the damn car and emptied his clip out in his gun, reloaded and emptied another one, Brother Rich. I think over 50, 60 shots was fired.
Wow.
Ran out of bullets, went to the store, came back, and reloaded again. We got to do more than just mention Sandra Bland's name. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to become the sister. We got to become those ancestors that speak from within us, Brother Rich. And we got to muster up the strength to stand united with one another and be able to defend one another at all costs, man. This is why the last couple of interviews, it really moved me, man, when people talk about black women and not defending black women. Did you see and read some of them shameful-ass comments?
Yeah.
Black women, man. Black women, this is black women. No, I'm going to stand my ground, Brother Rich. Regardless of what we go through with our women, with black women, we still got to stand strong as real black men and protect them and elevate them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
100%.
All of us been hurt by a black woman. All the black women been hurt by a black man. We still need one another. I'm sorry, Brother Rich.
I got one more question for you, Professor Griff, before we go. Just in terms of the people calling out LeBron or any celebrity or black entertainer or athlete to do something when an incident like this happens. You know, when an athlete makes a certain amount of money, there's this perception in the black community. A lot of people feel as though it's because of their support that elevated the celebrity to where they're at. So LeBron wouldn't be King James he wouldn't be the king without the support of the black community. So this is what, I guess makes them so vocal about when things happen. Now it's your turn. We elevate you to this level. Now it's your turn to do what we want you to do. But at the same time, these celebrities, entertainers, athletes feel as though, wait a minute. As Drake said, you wasn't there shooting with me in the gym. It's my hard work and dedication that got me here. I trained 6, 7, 8 hours a day to get to this point where I'm at today. So, do you think the black community tries to take too much credit for what these black millionaires achieve, or do you think, there's still room to give back more from these black entertainers?
I think, Brother Rich, we have to take that in degrees. To a degree, the black entertainment is absolutely correct. It's mainly, I know people that work at certain arenas, Brother Rich, around the country, in official capacity and also just getting a part-time damn job. You understand what I'm saying? And they will tell you, Brother Rich, and hell, I can tell you, It is white people, man, that pay all that money for those boots and those $6,000 front row seats where Spike Lee and the rest of them sit courtside. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Them damn $4,000 seats a night. So we have to be very real, Brother Rich. A lot of times when it comes to the economic success of sports players, it's not black people that's propelling them to that particular status. Now, prior to that, Brother Rich, it is us. It is us. We do owe a debt of gratitude. We do owe a debt to our people. If I became a millionaire next Wednesday, Brother Rich, I'm compelled to secure my millionaire position. And then after that, my second move, after I take care of self and my family, my next move is to hook up with business leaders and people that know business and people that are entrepreneurs and come back and give back to the community in the way I know how, Brother Rich. I'm not going to be like T.I. and go to Walmart and buy Christmas toys. Hats off to T.I. if that's the way T.I. feels like he wants to do his thing. That's the level that T.I. is on. I can't do it, Brother Rich. Shout out to Usher, David Banner, the Killer Mike, and a few other people that showed up at Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson's lecture last night in Atlanta, Georgia at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. Maybe that's their way of giving back. Coming and let the people know to be among the people. That's a beautiful thing. I can give back in the way I know how, Brother Rich. I purchase a building and make sure there's dance classes, ballet classes, a computer room, or a few other things. Martial arts classes, etiquette classes, political education classes. I'd have them same black police officers I know across the country come and speak to young black people and let them know what goes on, what's being said about young black people and the way we conduct ourselves in the hood, and give us some first-hand experience on what to do when we pulled over. There's some concerned people out there. So I give back in the way I know how to give back. We should hold them accountable, but we should hold one another to a higher standard, Brother Rich. And this is what we fail to do. This is what we fail to do. So in my code of conduct talk in Brooklyn, I said, no, we have to put together a council of elders. And everyone has to respect the elders. Everyone has to adhere to that divine law and those laws that the elders set in place. And whoever violates them has to get dealt with, plain and simple. Everyone in all these organizations, all of us need to respect the women and the children. But everyone needs to respect the fact that when the elders call you in for a sit-down to squash a beef or whatever, hey, we need to adhere to that, man. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So it's a double-edged sword, Brother Rich. Those people that have made it, you know, this brother that worked all his life. He's an amputee. Got one leg. Managed to save enough money. Some people donated some money so he can get a prosthetic limb. And now he's entered into the Olympics, and now he won a medal. After you thank God and your mama, you understand what I'm saying? You better go back and give back to the community that put that money together to help you get that plastic-ass leg. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this is a very real dynamic who we are. We're taught, Brother Rich, not to give back. We're taught self-hatred, to hate one another. We're taught, shit, once I get my ass out of the barrel, to hell with the rest of them crabs, I'm out. No. See, we're taught not to come back to the community because maybe somebody else will do it. But, Brother Rich, we're not always talking about coming back and giving your money. How about your time? How about coming back and activating some of the brothers and sisters that are already doing the work in the community? You can stay behind the scenes, Brother Rich, and give your support. You definitely don't have to do it. You don't have to do it openly where you're jeopardizing your job or your millions or your scout or your sponsorship or your endorsement deal that you got with Nike or Playboy or whoever the hell you got it with, or Twizzlers or Scotch paper towel or whoever. So there's different ways that they can give and lend their support, Brother Rich, and it's very real.
Indeed. Won't you leave your contact info for them, Professor Griff? Anything you got coming up in the beginning of the year?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. Me and Black Dot, we're going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina on July. I said July. I want it to be warm so damn bad. January 16th. Let me give you the correct information. It's January 16th, my Saturday, January 16th. Black Dot and Professor Griff in Raleigh, North Carolina. You can call 919-307-3742. That's 919-307-3742, or you can call 704-635-3821. Raleigh, North Carolina, Professor Griff and Black Dot. I'm going to be dealing with the alchemical transformation of reconstructing the consciousness based on my book, Who Stole the Soul? And Black Dot's going to be coming from his book, Urban Culture Decoded, a detailed look into the urban experience. Also, Brother Rich, I'm going out once again with my brother, Khalid El Hakim, from the Black History 101 Mobile Museum on a tour starting in January, and it's going to end in March, and we're starting in Portland. So we're going to be at Portland University. We're going to the Pastors Education Summit. We're going to the community college at Rock Creek campus. Then we're going to Michigan and all across the country, man, Rhode Island and some other places we're going through with the Black History 101 Mobile Museum. And the Black History 101 Mobile Museum exhibit that he's bringing out now, Brother Rich, is a very monumental one. He's collected over 20-some-odd years important documents and signatures from some of our greats, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King, Elijah Muhammad, on documents that they signed, Brother Rich, and he's going to exhibit those. And it's a very fascinating exhibit. My show, Serious Minds Blog Talk Show, is coming on next Tuesday, Brother Rich, January 5th, 2016, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's Serious Minds Radio. And my guest, who I traveled with on the weekend to Philly, Rick Mathis, and he's the brother who did the film Black Friday, Brother Rich.
Okay.
People were like, "You here speaking, Griff? What's going on?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm coming to work the brother table." He's a dynamic brother, dynamic filmmaker, and I think we need to do that for one another.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy to make $500-600 for the brother and turn it over to the brother. I want the brother to be successful in his film. You understand what I'm saying? Although I'm not even in the film. So we have to start and begin to do that for one another. And I'm proud to say, Brother Rich, in March 15, the Alchemical Cipher Study Group is going to start. Figured out a way to get 100 people together every Thursday night so that we can actually study, Brother Rich. We can piece apart some of these real thick books and this dynamic work that our ancestors have left us. So the Alchemical Cipher is going to start in March. But to contact me, just hit me up, 678-557-2919. Or you can email me at seriousmindinfo@gmail.com. If you didn't get any of that, just go to the website, www.professorgriff.me or www.pgriff.info. And I think we need to be mindful, Brother Rich. Dr. Martin Luther King said a riot is the language of the unheard. But we don't want it to get to that point, Brother Rich. But if there's no justice going to be given to the black man and woman in America, we may see some civil unrest. But no one understands, man, that they're armed to the teeth, and they have plan upon a backup plan upon a plan B and another plan for black people. And it's called martial law. And we'll talk about that in the new year, Brother Rich. Malcolm X said, I'm for truth, no matter who tells it. I'm for justice, no matter who it's for or against. And we have to understand that, Brother Rich. Dr. King says injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So I want to thank you once again for having me. This is the last show of 2015, and I know, Brother Rich, with what we do every Wednesday night, we're making an impact on the mind, heart, and souls and spirit of our people. And I hope the people will receive what we have to say.
Indeed, excellent way to end the show, Professor Griff. Once again, y'all, this is Brother Rich, Underground Railroad Radio, and me and Griff gonna see y'all next year. Happy so-called New Year to all y'all, but enjoy your week. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.